Welcome back to Sportsworld. There can be few more difficult jobs in sport. He's recently had to deal with allegations of child labor being used to make Olympic merchandise and the constant battle against doping in sport. But Jacques Rogge knew that taking over as the president of the International Olympic Committee wouldn't be easy. Sportsworld Carrie Brown went to meet him.
And then Mr. Jacques Rogge.
He's one of the most important men in world sport. Jacques Rogge presiding over arguably the IOC's most audacious challenge to date, taking the Olympic Games to China. With just over 12 months to go until the Beijing Games, building work in the capital is on schedule. But the organisers have had some tough questions to answer regarding allegations of human rights abuses.
We've received assurances by the Chinese that they would definitely respect all the requirements of the Olympic Charter, amongst which you have the freedom of information and freedom of circulation for the media. This is something that has been achieved, and this is unique. And this is the effect of the Olympic Games, and this is going to be lasting effect. This is not going to be just for the Olympic Games themselves, but this is something that will change really society in China.
A recent survey, however, revealed child labour has been used to manufacture Olympic merchandise in China, a practice Rogge refuses to tolerate.
It is just plainly not acceptable, and we are going to take measures against that. No one should doubt about the purity of our intentions. We have always set the standards very high, and I will make sure that this not happen in the future.
Rogge took office in 2001, the former Olympic sailor bringing with him a staunch zero-tolerance approach to drugs, introducing strict doping controls, which he constantly reviews.
We are going to step up the number of tests both in and out of competition at the Beijing Games. We had approximately 3,600 tests in Athens. We'll go up to 4,500. And in between the Sydney Games in 2000 and the Beijing Games in 2008, the number of tests will just have doubled.
The Beijing 2008...
Rogge and the IOC have declared a war on doping amid a number of high-profile drugs cases in Olympic sports, such as cycling and athletics. Rogge is in no doubt where the blame lies.
It's the athletes who are guilty, not the administrators. And I believe that indeed both the International Track and Field Federation and the Cycling Federation are waging an exemplary war against doping. They are the two federations who have most tests, and they absolutely fight against that.
Dwayne Chambers and Kelly White both tested positive for tetrahydrogesterone and have since gone on record to say, you can never beat the cheats. What's your message to them?
Whenever someone has taken doping, he or she would tend to say that everyone takes doping, but that's not true. That's not true. We are not naive. We know that there is doping. We know that we'll never get into a society without cheating, because this is the inherent weakness of man. But definitely, yes, there is a clear message for young athletes. You can do it without doping.
The 22nd Olympic Winter Games in 2014 are awarded to the city of Sochi.
Time is now running out for cities to bid for the 2016 Games, and with Dubai and Doha expressing an interest in hosting the Games, what is the possibility of an Olympics in the Middle East?
I don't think this is a priority for the Middle East today. Hosting the Olympic Games must be fitting into a priority list of a city, a region and a country. I doubt very much that the priority for the Middle East today is to organize Olympic Games. So let's be realistic. Security is always, probably the #1 factor at all Olympic Games. But we are not linking this to a particular region.
Welcome to the next stage in our journey to the Olympic.
Now that London has been awarded the Games in 2012, one of their priorities was to come up with a logo for the Games. The final design caused huge controversy in Britain, but the IOC president is a fan.
No, let me tell you that I like it, and maybe I like it also for another reason. Is that apart from my sporting life, I'm really addicted to modern art. And within modern art, I especially love the abstract art. Now, this is a very abstract logo, so that's probably why it pleases to me.
Now, you're well into your reign as the president of the IOC. What would you like to be your legacy when you leave here?
I don't think about legacy. I think in terms of urgencies, I think in terms of priorities, and that's enough, believe me.
What is your current urgency?
The current urgency, I believe, for the International Olympic Committee and the sports movement in general is to engage better with the youth. There is a growing inactivity in young people nowadays, which leads to an increased obesity. And on average, young people in many rich countries definitely sit in front of a screen for more than 20 hours a week. We have to get them moving again.
And is this why we're hearing of the introduction of youth-orientated sports like skateboarding in 2012?
It's a possibility. I would not want to jump on the conclusions of a study we are doing, but this is a possibility, yes. And in general, we need to have a young, fresh Olympic program that appeals to the youth, because the youth is the future of the Olympic movement.
Those of you who watched Sportsworld last week will be aware that the Pan American Games are taking place in Rio de Janeiro. Athletes from the Americas are competing in over 30 sports. Locals, though, are struggling to feel part of the Games. Tickets for many events are expensive and hard to get. But as Brendan Connor found out, Brazilians are doing their best to enjoy what they can.
It's another beautiful day in Rio, and the street musicians are out to entertain the tourists in the cafes. Meanwhile, Brazilian sports fans have arrived early to jam the streets, to wave their flags, take their photos, and cheer on their favorite athletes. They want to be right where the action is, on the rare occasions when they can.
One of the great things about competitions like the Pan Am Games is that some of the sports don't take place in arenas or stadiums, but in the downtown core, like the women's triathlon right here in the streets of Ipanema. So many of the people who couldn't get tickets, couldn't afford tickets, are able to enjoy the competition up close and personal and for free.
This is the only event we can participate in. When there is a charge, not everyone can come. This is good for Brazil.
It's great that we can be here with our families for free, enjoying this Pan-American event.
Yeah, we have the sun, we have the beach, we are here with family and with friends.
The triathlon was a mutual love affair then, the fans enjoying great access and the athletes enjoying it as well.
I notice the crowd a lot, particularly on the run. When I'm starting to get tired, my energy is being depleted, I try to sap the energy from the crowd, and it doesn't matter if they're cheering for me or against me. It just, it sounded like the people were having a really good time today.
Rowing is another venue here where Brazilians have said, why sit over there and pay for tickets when there's a public park and a little embankment that overlooks the lagoon and the race course? For some, this seems the best way to enjoy the action, and the price is right. And for others, a stroke of real estate luck has also afforded them a chance to see and enjoy the Pan American Games without even having to leave home. Brendan Connor, Al Jazeera, Rio de Janeiro.
Don't forget to check out our website aljazeera.net/English, where you can find all the latest sport news and let us know what you think about the show. That's it for this edition of Sports World. You're watching Al Jazeera.